Welcome to Content Strategy Collective Live, CSC Live 2021, our first event. I'm really excited to be able to share this stuff that we're going to talk about with you today. My name is Remy Brommer. I lead the product team. I make a lot of the designs that you see in there and work with our user data, read your feedback, work with our engineers. This is Noah Davis.
Hi, I'm our CTO. I work with our engineering teams and our product teams and our data science teams to make sure that we're delivering the best experience possible for all of our users and constantly trying to improve it.
And before we really talk about the basis of what we envision as the future of content creation with MarketMuse and some of the really amazing projects we're going to be kicking off this year, one of the things I wanted to talk about is that our new road mapping process and the way that we're setting up our projects now come from essentially kind of three areas. So all of these things are based off of research in three areas, and we'll be calling out certain points about that as we move forward. But one of those areas is qualitative data, which is what do you use, how do you use it, what are you clicking on, how long are you there, etc. And it's just purely the numbers of your engagement with the platform. And through that, we can understand a lot of really important things about stuff that's not used and may not be useful, stuff that is clicked too often and maybe results in you having to do too many steps in your content creation process in MarketMuse. A lot of different things like that we can see and we can turn into better experiences. So that's one pillar, qualitative data. The other pillar I've already mentioned is quantitative data. I did those backwards. Qualitative data is what you say to us. Quantitative data is the numbers. So the qualitative data I've already talked about, that's the feedback that you give us, the things that you've written where you're like, this thing sucks, I hate this, or this is amazing, if only it could do that. And so those are a lot of the qualitative pieces of information. And then the final pillar of where we're kind of sourcing this new roadmap is from the people in our company that work directly with you. The people in our company who use our platform every day, who are also our users and our coworkers, and meeting with them together and finding what opportunities are out here for us to make this experience better for you. So we're not focused right now on a feature-based roadmap. And of course, we'll be delivering features, and there will be incredible new things in the platform. But many of you who use MarketMuse know we have enough features. We have a lot of features, and so we're not trying to target features. We're trying to target experiences, and we're doing that through the experience of our coworkers who work with you and in our platform every day, through the things that you've told us that you want or don't want in our platform, and through the data of how you interact and how you. So, Noah, you want to kick us off on kind of what our vision is?
Yeah, so I'm going to dive into what our holistic vision for MarketMuse from now into the future is, but I first wanted to set the stage with how we arrived to this vision. Today, the landscape of tools that you have access to for content marketing, content strategy, keyword research, etc., has created this wealth of data that we use in the field, right? We might pull a list of keywords that we're interested in and sort by their difficulty or their volume or metrics like that, and then we build these elaborate pivot tables, and we have formulated this process that allows us to take our best guess at what we should be either creating new content for or optimizing existing content on. And while that's great, and there's been so much work that has gone into these processes that have been developed by us, even at MarketMuse, and you as our users, we really see a future where that isn't necessary anymore. And so several months ago, I feel like it probably was, I came to Remy and Ulrich Zofing, who's our director of engineering. I said, guys, I'd really like us to put together a vision that, while it might feel unachievable at this moment, is where we need to head with the company. And I sat down and I said, from the moment of login, I wanted to take 15 minutes or less for someone to have a published piece of content when they come to MarketMuse. They need to be able to come in and trust the data that they see, trust the recommendations and insights that they've been provided, and then write that content or have a machine write that content for them in record time so that you can spend more of your time doing other parts of your job function and less of it trying to validate the ideas that you have.
And one of the things that in Noah's vision of log in to publish content in 15 minutes, that gives you the time then to really curate your creativity into those pieces of content, into your strategy, into the way that you engage with your customers, with the people who read your sites, whatever it is that you may do. And getting out of the spreadsheet and getting into your creative powers as a creator, as a strategist, as a content manager, as a writer, whatever it is, that's where the real gold is. For us to not only enjoy our jobs, but be able to do the laborious part. In that, you were really talking about getting insights and recommendations, validating data or kind of forging your own path through the research process, and then the actual writing and briefing, all being fueled and accelerated by this technology, by this machine learning technology, by the MarketMuse patented topic model, by these different aspects of our system. And what that really comes out to is the pillar of insights or dashboarding or inspiration, the pillar of research, that kind of forging your own path thing that I mentioned, which we'll call our topic research or strategy research kind of area, and our writing, briefing, collaboration, publishing type of area. So we're really looking now into the future in these three types of pillars. Get a suggestion, validate or forge your own path, and write and produce.
Yep, that's exactly right. And so as we think about those as our three primary pillars that branch out of the vision that we've presented, we really had to look for what's a similar technology that we've already built and we've forged the path forward on that is unique to MarketMuse and drives a majority of the things that you experience in the platform today. And underlying all of that really is our topic modeling technology. And so that's kind of our starting place as we think forward in the roadmap is how are we going to enhance that topic model and the ways that you can interact with it to create very enriched experiences for customers at MarketMuse. So there's a couple of things that we want to do in there that we think will help. Simple things like clustering and graph representations of the data.
I'm going to pause right there. For most people, that's not simple things. Clustering is a technology that has been worked on very with a lot of focus and a lot of robustness by Uli and his team on the back end. We've actually had clustering technology in the background in MarketMuse for a while now.
3 years.
For 3 years. But the display, visualization, and the actual usage and value to you and to our internal writers is something that we've been working on for a long time, and we're finally on the precipice of being ready to add that into your experience. What do you mean by graph representations? What is that?
Yeah, it's a lot of people understand clustering visuals, right? You have your nodes and your other nodes, and they're connected with lines, and this
is topic clustering specifically.
Yes,
I'm talking about?
yeah, okay. And that is similar to a graph, right? But there's data that we can add to that graph to enrich it. Instead of just saying, topic A is semantically similar to topic B by this much, we could start layering in really cool data sets like stick in VED parameters from Google, or we could add in other keyword data like everyone still loves volume, or difficulty, or relatedness within the SERP, or things like that, where we can start to paint a very clear picture of the topic and overlay that very familiar keyword research data.
Okay. So inside of this sort of more robust topic model, this model that shows us kind of some of the classical keyword research metrics that we don't have currently in any of our research processes, as well as our machine learning powered intent engine, where we can surface search intent on different topics and pages, alongside this stick and VED data. With all of these different data points and these additional ways that we can drive insights in our users' research, one of the things that we've been talking about a lot and that we've noticed through our usage data is that we already have a lot of stuff going on in the platform. We have a lot of different places we can go. We have a lot of different applications, each of which has its own purpose and its own value. And so one of the things that we're going to kind of over this research, insight, and writing portion of this talk with is that there's a lot more data that we want to put in. There are a lot more insights that we want to draw from that data, but one thing that you all have told me over and over and over is, can we make this simple? Because if we're trying to drive ourselves into log into content creation and publication within 15 minutes, having just columns and columns and columns of data that we teach you how to sort through and filter through is not the answer. Finding each of those little data points in a different location in the platform is not the way to get you there. So one of our main goals here is unification, is simplification, and is making these data points work for you instead of showing you how to work with them. So all of these things, we're going to have displays and abilities for you to be able to sort them, filter them. The people out there who love the data will be there, but our goal is to drill up from that data. And for those of you like me who don't care about it and just want the answer, our primary goal in this new research experience, powered by these upgrades to our topic model and the real graph creation of our knowledge graph, will be these sort of elevated insights. And the last thing that I'll add to that, since we kind of just segued into the research section, one of the things that you have all asked for quite a bit, our internal people have asked for quite a bit, has a ton of value, and has even more value after this year's updates to our inventory, is a connection between our research and utilities, our applications, and our inventory. Inventory is the full database of all of your personalized information of what you have on the site. And sometimes you're going to search for, let's say you have a home improvement store of some sort and you want to really cover lawn chairs, and you want to search for lawn chairs, find all that juicy data on lawn chairs that you can find in research, and particularly in this new kind of integrated research experience. But maybe you have 3 pages, 4 pages, 17 pages already about lawn chairs that are underperforming that could just use the updates to 3 or 4 paragraphs and will knock you onto the first page. You have to search in 2 different places to find that. So one of the things here, Noah, maybe you can speak to a little bit, is our goal of integrating the inventory information with the experience that you get in the applications.
Yeah, definitely. In doing that, as Remy outlined, the goal is to provide you not just the topic and keyword research in one query, but pull that inventory information in, which really tees us up for the second pillar of what we've been talking about, which is those insights, right? A workflow that we commonly teach a lot of people is you go to the compete application, you run a query, you flip over to the heat map, you look at the heat map, and you look for lines of red, right? Highly relevant topics that no one else in the SERP is talking about, right? These are places of competitive advantage for you. Maybe you can take an article and optimize it with that topic. Maybe you can create an entirely new piece of content on that and use Connect to create a linking strategy that pulls that page back to the rest of your site and connects it. Instead of having to teach you that information, we want to start surfacing those insights within research and within the inventory data automatically for you. As we have gathered more feedback from you and internally, it's really highlighted a need for us to start seriously investigating Google Analytics and Google Search Console integrations. So instead of just getting the best MarketMuse estimate for what your traffic is based on all of the variables that we're looking at, we can actually just pull your real data in, right? We can look at the campaign you're running, or we can look at the absolute traffic value that you're receiving, and we can then use that data to fuel even better recommendations, right? We can say, hey, you published this piece on X date and it's not performing well. You followed these suggestions and didn't follow these ones. Here's a way to improve that piece and boost its performance. Or you've tried writing about wood fences 15 times and you're never successful. Here's a way to approach writing about wood fences that might help elevate those 15 pieces of content that you've already created so that you can start realizing revenue from them.
And these updates, just to kind of wrap back to something that I mentioned at the beginning, so these updates around research, a lot of the time, were based on requests that were given to us from customers around different data that they would love to see in their experience, as well as the quantitative data of the really massive amount of clicking it takes to get anything done in the research experience. In the dashboard experience, we have noticed that it's a very underutilized part of our software, and it's relatively weak in its current state. The most used aspect of the dashboard is our page and topic filters, which will be upgraded soon through our Save Views tracker and in the dashboard, which you'll be hearing more about very soon. But the reason for this lack of usage there is our current dashboard modules, what they're called, those little blocks in your dashboard, have very little action that can be taken from them. Our estimated traffic for your whole site, the estimated value for your whole site, the content score breakdown for your site, the ranking graph, many of them have no next step. You see it and you're like, I have a general understanding of stuff. So one of the things that really draws this focus through that quantitative value, a dozen or more requests from customers around that dashboard, and our desire to get you in the door, publication in 15 minutes, means that we need to surface better and more actionable insights. This idea of simplification, like I mentioned before, and this idea of actionable is something that has drawn across almost all of our pieces of customer feedback, that we need to make sure that when we show data, there's a way for you to move it into the next step of the content creation process, and it's not a dead end where you find the data and you have nowhere to go. So one of the things we want to see here in these updates to our dashboard, in these updates to our insights, is that you grow to trust and learn that these insights are leading you in the right direction. They're guided by your own desire and direction for your content strategy. And when these insights arrive, eventually you will get to the point where you can move forward with writing and briefing straight away. But in the interim, all the proof is there. The data is there to be able to say, to show you the way that this is calculated, the reasons that we found this. You can see all of that in this more robust version of our research until we've kind of come in sync together, where you know that MarketMuse has your business interests in mind, and this mind is delivering you these insights that you can turn straight into briefing, straight into pieces of writing if you're writing yourself, and directly out the door into publishing.
Yeah, and we even want to take it a step further than that, actually, which is, oftentimes content can be a pretty thankless job. We celebrate content pretty well internally at MarketMuse when we, follow our recommendations and write an article and we get the knowledge panel or number one. There's an eruption of emojis in our Slack channel. But outside of that, content can be a pretty thankless job a lot of the time. And one of the things that we really want to make sure we're also doing is not just showing you your gaps and the things that you're doing wrong and how to improve, but we want to be celebrating those wins with you, right? We want to be celebrating when you go from 11 to 1, or which hopefully we all do, or when your optimization doubled the traffic for a page. And that's another piece of feedback we've received a lot of information about, that we're looking how to integrate that into the platform to make those content wins and all the hard work that we put in feel great and rewarding.
Just as a brief highlight, simplification, actionable data, surfacing insights instead of telling you how to get to those insights yourself, following up those insights with research that you can trust and you can use when you choose to forge your own path. And then this last part really is the absolute, the thing that I'm the most excited to design for, to study with you all as we create it. And this, I think, will really be the cornerstone of this project. Noah, and I know this is a lot of preamble before we get into what it is and what it looks like verbally, but Noah has been calling this flow. Will that be the name? We don't know, but let's talk a little bit about the all-in-one rifing, breathing, and natural language generation application that we have on the horizon. Writing, briefing, NLG. Writing, briefing, NLG. Writing, briefing, NLG. Tell me about it, man.
So, as Remy outlined, the condensing of workflows, making information more accessible, providing insights. in a lot of platforms today, and our platform especially, that's really far removed from the writing experience, right? And part of that is intentional, which is we don't want to bombard the writers and the crowd with a ton of data. That's overwhelming. It's hard to focus. It's hard to find that creative flow. But all that data exists. And as we think about how to refactor the MarketMuse writing experience, our goal is to start to bubble that information up and have it ready at a moment's notice to help fuel and accelerate the writing process, right? That could be a ton of different metrics or things that we want to include, but the goal is to almost view it like the content editor is here and the information is hidden in the background. So I might be able to type /outline and type in a topic and just have it generate an outline for me, right? I'll get my subheadings, I'll get my questions to answer, I'll get my topics to mention, I'll get my, not just the topics to mention, but the table stakes and the gaps and things like that exposed to me instantaneously.
And right there you can see how this work on the applications early in this process, this work on our topic model as a whole and our core data set will help to fuel this flow, this new NU with a umlaut over it, optimize, whatever it is, that data set will be able to fuel you kind of hidden behind the scenes and conjured up as it's needed. And this is like really, as a user experience designer, this is something I'm really excited about, where we don't want you to have to, we want the data to be available to accelerate and help you be creative at a moment's notice, rather than as a thing that you can sift and sort through and maybe copy and paste in. We want it to be able to be magic. We want it to be conjured in by you while you're in the writing experience.
Exactly.
Well, one of the things that will make this the place where you want to write, where your writers want to write, where you want to create your outlines and your briefs, because we don't often have a problem with people not liking the MarketMuse data. Sometimes people, though, take the data and they jump out to Google Docs to write, and then they check it again and optimize, and all right, looks good. So, we get requests all the time for exportable briefs, for things like that, where people want to take the information out of MarketMuse and go use somewhere else. And we're fine with that, and we hope to be able to supply people with those things, and it will be a lot easier to, as we merge some of these data sets directly into the writing experience. But we really want to make a writing experience to contain all of this that is up to par with whatever other writing experience you're going to be using. We need the right ability to format. We need the ability to use images. We need the ability to maybe even leave comments. We need this writing software to be robust and capable of everything that you would be wanting to do in a piece of writing software, just infused with this kind of summonable MarketMuse data that will be able to just jump in and fill in the research gaps when you're ready for it. Some of the other things that we'd be able to add in alongside some of these automated outline type of tools that come from using that topic model data, that research data, really our brief engine that we currently use for our brief creation, but just popping it right in there so that it can be edited in this editor and restructured in the way that you want it, the way you want to send it off to your writers or you want to use it yourself, is a couple of other metrics that have been mentioned by customers and that we've seen some internal requests for, like tone and readability.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, which tend to be kind of status quo for a lot of writing tools. We've typically hidden things like that to remove distraction from the interface, but they're things that we're looking into adding in. The next step, right, as Remy outlined further, the way that the data is there at your fingertips at a moment's notice, is integrating our natural language generation technology into this, right? The market has recently exploded with companies branching off of the GPT-3 API, right? At MarketMuse, we don't use GPT-3. We've built our own in-house model over the last several years to fine-tune and create the best natural language generations we possibly can. It's important to acknowledge that natural language generation technology is still a long way off from where it could be, and no matter what solution you use, it's always going to give you some weird fluff. It might get into repetitive patterns. And the most important thing to understand about it is that it is very much garbage in, garbage out, right? So if I just give NLG technology a word or two, I'm going to get some crazy story about unicorns writing content briefs, and while it might sound great, it's not usable for me to publish, right? And
that honestly happens with our first draft currently too.
Yeah.
That's like our place where we're learning these lessons for the future of content creation, the future of our natural language generation software.
Yeah, exactly. So now, what I want you to think about now is, you have your editor, the layer of information underneath it, and then underneath that, the layer of our natural language generation technology, right? So I'm writing, I create an outline, it's fueled by awesome data that is definitely not a garbage input. I have the chance to manipulate it, add some topics that I care about personally, remove the ones that I don't, and eventually we want to create the experience where I could just highlight a section of my article and say, generate the content. And I can get
a section of an outline.
Section of an outline, right? And I can get the generation instantaneously, right? No waiting a long time, knowing that the information I've provided to the model is really outlining the thing that I need to talk about here, and just having that at the ready, right? And maybe I don't like that one. Maybe I can flip to the next one, or flip to the next one, or flip to the next one, until I very quickly can piece together this piece of content that is easy for me to edit, or that I'm very comfortable with, and I know is not just meeting and likely exceeding content score and the other metrics that I need to encompass while I'm producing content, but that it's already automatically pulled in my linking strategy that I've outlined, and it's not talking about the stuff that I don't want, and it's really helped me go from idea, research is under the hood, build my outline or brief or whatever you want to call it, generate section by section or all at once, and be done, and be able to publish, leave, and go on with the rest of my day.
Well, and that's one of the things to highlight there in the generation of section to section too, is that the trickiest thing currently in NLG is long form content, and our first draft is, for the status quo, is pretty freaking remarkable at it. But what happens is over time, it's kind of eating its own history. As it writes more and more, it's trying to self-reference and learn from itself, and so the longer it gets, the more it may wander, the stranger the output may be. And being able to have this first draft suggestion engine integrated into the writing process, where with a keystroke or a quick click of a button, we can adapt outline information into a paragraph of written text, we have the ability then to really kind of hone the focus of the machine learning into that one area, rather than being too broad, too vague, too expansive, for the system in its current state to really produce what it's capable of. So this is what I see. Come on to MarketMuse. I arrived at my dashboard. I'm trying to Noah asked me if I could get visuals for this thing today, and I was like, no, absolutely not, because I have some designs that we're working on, but I want to test them with you. I want to go over them with you. We want to test them with our internal people. I don't want to just throw something out and then have you all be like, oh, I hate that, or I love that. Can it come out? Because really everything else that we've mentioned is technology that we have or we have access to today. The real issue is putting it together. It's not an issue, but the thing that will take work is putting it together and displaying it to you in a way that's pleasing, that's navigable, that's easy to understand. That's it. Is there anything that we mentioned today that we don't have the capability of doing yet that we're still going to have to discover?
Nope.
That all exists. It exists, and what our journey is for the rest of this year, probably going a little bit into next year, is to start building these things and to make those interfaces for those pleasurable experiences for you. And so I didn't want to fake the pleasurable experiences, because none of this has been fake so far. So let's visualize together. We come onto a dashboard. We have 5 creation and 5 optimization opportunities right there for us that have to do with our user goals. That's actually one of our outcomes that we're driving towards this year. 5 optimization, 5 creation opportunities for every customer with an inventory at least, but hopefully we can do it elsewhere also, where you receive this suggestion, you know that it fits in with your plan. you click through it, and maybe you see the research output of it. You verify, yep, that looks right. Those are the specifications that I would want to follow. You click into write, and right away, so you have that topic. You are into the writing area, and you type a keystroke or click a button, and your MarketMuse outline brief just shows up right there in the writing space. If you're not the writer, share, off to my writer. If you are the writer, highlight, generate, paragraph, edit it a bit, move through. That sounds like we're getting kind of close to 15 minutes. Now, the other 45 minutes, the other hour and 45 minutes can be you fumbling through choosing images and being creative with the way that you write it, the humor in your piece, whatever it might be. But that's what we're talking about here. That's how colossal of a shift this is in the way that we hope to navigate our inventory and our research data in getting you an insight into writing. So we are 11 minutes over now.
We are.
It sounds like a lot of features. Like we said, our goal is to make this robust set of features not only incrementally come out for you to start to experience and to use, but for us to use those things in a way that simplifies your experience. Email me. I want to know what you want to see in this in these series of releases, what you want to see in this integrated briefing, NLG, and writing experience, what kind of insights you want to receive in a digest in your email and on your dashboard that will lead you directly into action, what kind of stuff you want to nerd out about in research if you really want to get heavy, how you want to see that inventory data integrated with research, because we're starting all of this stuff now, and if you have anything to say, this is your time, and this is for you. I only use MarketMuse to find out what it's like to use MarketMuse. You use MarketMuse because it's your job, and my job is to make your job better. So help me. Help me help you. Remy Carlin, 2021. You have anything else to say?
No, thank you everyone so much for attending CSC Live. We're really happy that you made it, and we look forward to talking to you soon. My email is noah@marketmuse.com. You can see me on any of the emails that you send to Remy.
Any of the things you yell at me about?
Yeah, only see me on the nice ones, and we look forward to talking to you soon. Thank you again for attending the first CSC Live event, and we look forward to seeing you next year.